Yes, I did it again. I grew a super healthy plants at zero cost. And I did it just to show you how it works. Why? Because of this. This is a tray of Monte Carlo that I grew completely for free. And you seem to be very interested in this process. And many of you had the same question about it. Does it also work for stem plants? And the answer is yes. Yes, it does. So I decided to do it again with few stem plants, just to show you how it works. Okay, let's get to it. To propagate your plants, you will need some containers. I like to use those propagation boxes, but they are really not necessary. You can just use plastic containers like this one. The only thing that you have to remember that it needs to be transparent and it needs to be able to fit the plant when it reaches its final size. But I have those containers available, so I will be using them. They are very convenient to use and they are tall enough to fit the plants once they get some height. But if you don't have those and you are not planning to buy them, tall Tupperware is perfect and worked for me in the past just fine. I will be working with 3 separate containers to show you as many examples as possible. Okay, we have the containers ready, so it's time to fill them up with some substrate. And here we have few different options. First of all, you can just use some new substrate, like I'm doing here. Those are leftovers that I had from my other tanks. As you can see, you don't need a lot, so if you have any laying around, you should be fine. And if you don't have any, as an alternative, you can just fill it with used substrate, like I did here. This one still has some leftovers from previous plants, but it will work just fine, so don't worry. And you can use some substrate from old or even still running tank. And finally, as third option, you can use some river sand. But in this case, I would suggest to use some root tabs or fertilizer to make the sand rich in nutrients. As long as you use them, this method will also work just fine. And this is it. It really is that simple. Containers are ready and we can get planting. But what are we planting exactly? Here again, you have few options. First of all, you might use some leftovers that you might have from other tanks. For instance, some in vitro plants like this one you can see here. If you were setting up a new tank and haven't used everything, you can definitely use it for propagation and your future projects. I do it all the time and save a ton of money. And second and even more convenient option is to use trimmings from your plants. Yes, instead of throwing them away, you can use them to grow new plants for other tanks. Here you can see me trimming few different types of plants just for this video. And I will grow them all to show you how great it works and how easy it can be. And if you don't have any plants to trim, you can ask some friends to give you the trimmings after trimming sessions. Or you can look for them on Facebook groups. Really, lots of people have a lot of trimmings and they are giving them away for free because they might become a problem if you have too many. So there are really quite few options for you to choose. And here you can see what I was able to get from my tanks. Nice selection of few different plants. And once you have the plants ready, we can start planting. And this is super easy in conditions like this. There is no water, so the plants are not going anywhere. They will not float or get moved by fish. All you have to do is spread them evenly in your container like I'm doing right now. Quick and easy. it took me like 1 minute per container to plant them. Because those are trimmings, they don't have a strong root system, but don't worry about that just yet. After planting is done, you need to spray them with water. I use quite a lot, like you can see on the screen. Make sure that all of the plants and entire substrate is visibly covered in water. And after you are done, you can place the cover of your containers. This is how it looks like for now. Take a good look. As you can see, some of them are so small that are barely visible from the sides. But that's okay. And we are ready. Last thing to do is to place them under the light. I always use the light from my main tank. It's strong and I'm having it on anyways for my tank. So there is really no new cost on my side. It worked for me every single time. And you saw that already with this Monte Carlo and Anubias. And if you haven't seen it, check them out. Links are in the description. For the next few weeks, all I have to do is occasionally spray it with water and make sure that the plants don't dry out. And for the last time, look how they look like from the sides, because this is how you will see the growth. And now we wait. And few weeks later, we get this. Just look at those plants. So big and so incredibly healthy. Now they can literally fill the containers. This is why I was mentioning that you need to plan some space for them, because those are not carpeting plants. They can really grow big. Look here, it was actually already too big for it. This is before, and this is after. Do I have to say more? And look at those green ones, I think that they look the best. And remember lack of root system? How about this? Cool, right? I think that the results really speak for themselves. So, there you have it. This method works for stem plants as well. I used it many times for the plants of different kinds, and the results are always worth it. You can now use them in your tank or even sell them and make some extra money. Let me know in the comments if you tried it, and if yes, what kind of plants you were able to propagate like that. But for now, thank you very much for watching and see you in the next one.